Most people see a dad, a husband, a guy working a 9 to 5 job. And yeah, that life is full. It's the constant rhythm of managing a household and getting things done at work. It takes a lot of effort and energy, but when the clock hits 11 p.m. and the house finally goes quiet, that's when the other guy wakes up. I'm a father of 3, and I think a lot of us dads struggle to hold on to our own identity and spark while also trying to be great parents. But let's be real, life doesn't always go to plan. Some nights, the house is a mess, I'm absolutely drained, and securing that me time feels like climbing a mountain. I'm not here to tell you that I've got it all figured out or that I'm some kind of efficiency machine. Most days, I'm just trying to close a chapter on my duties so I can find a little time for myself. Hopefully, sharing my experience helps a few of you out there. And honestly, I'd love to hear about how you are keeping your own true colors alive too. When you're a parent, your day is constantly dictated by other people's needs. Whether it's the kids, work, or the household, you spend most of your waking hours reacting to everything around you. And look, I love being a dad. I wouldn't trade it for anything. But I also know that if I don't carve out a moment where I'm not dad, husband, or employee, I start to lose a sense of who I am underneath all those roles. I think that's why we all have our own outlets. For some, it might be running, biking, or even reading. But for me, I've always been obsessed with cars. And if you're a dad watching this who shares that same passion, I'm sure at least once you've thought about setting up that perfect sim rig in your own home. I remember seeing the Logitech G25 for the first time. I told myself then, one day I'm gonna get my hands on it. And luckily for me, that one day came about 3 years ago when I bought myself the Logitech G29. The G29 was a lot more than what I expected, and pairing it with the next level racing GT Lite foldable seat, that was a game changer. It made the experience feel real. But anyone who's fallen down this rabbit hole knows the G29 is just the bottom rung of the ladder. I started learning about direct drive system, where the motor is directly connected to the wheel with 0 gears to mask the feedback. It sounded like the holy grail of sim racing, and I knew I had to upgrade someday. And to my surprise, that came a lot sooner than I expected. You see, the only time I'm allowed to drive is after 11 p.m. And the G29, because it's gear driven, it is loud. Every time I hit a wall or went off-road, you could hear the gears from my kids' rooms. If I wanted to keep my midnight circuit alive without my wife pulling the power cord in fear of waking the kids, I needed something silent. That led me down a massive research rabbit hole. I spent weeks comparing the different brands, different models, the specs, and being a Power J, I couldn't just guess. I needed to make sure that I was making the best possible decision. So I created an Excel file to compare all the models available. My main criteria was a question. If I buy this, will I regret it? This finally led me to the Fanatec GT2 Pro. It's silent, it's got great feedback, and it's powerful enough with the 8Nm boost kit. It also gives me access to the full Fanatec ecosystem, and most importantly, it's natively compatible with the PlayStation 5. I know, many of you are probably asking, why sim race on a PS5? Why Gran Turismo 7 as opposed to iRacing or Assetto Corsa? Remember, I'm not a professional sim racer. I'm a full-time dad with a 9 to 5 job like many of you out there, with only an hour of sim racing per day. To maximize that 1 hour, I need something that's plug and play with minimal time for setup. I've tried my own triple monitor setup on a PC, but the whole pre-race setup was eating up too much of my precious time. Besides, I've grown to love the Gran Turismo series since GT3, so it was only natural for me to get into GT7. And to play GT7 on a PS5, all I need to do is sit in my sim rig and push a couple of buttons. The rest is handled by my home automation setup. Why I prefer a single monitor setup on a PS5 over a triple monitor setup on a PC, and how I set up my own home automation deserve their own episodes, so I'll save the details. But I can tell you that for a dad who just wants to enjoy that 1 hour every night, I've gone through quite a bit of trial and error to find my perfect setup. So it sounds like I built a perfect man cave to escape into every night. But the reality, well, it's not that easy. There are days when I'm so tired that my brain feels like mush, my bed is calling my name, there's still unfolded laundry, and I have to be up for work in 6 hours. But I still find myself walking into the driver's seat. Why? It's not because I'm obsessed with the lap time. It's because for those few moments, I'm not dad, the guy who has to fix everything, manage the schedule, and keep the peace. I'm just a driver. When I'm focused on hitting that brake point, or mastering a turn, or just freely driving around, the mental noise of that day just vanishes. It's a total reset. And the best part? I'm not carrying the stress of the day with me anymore because I took the time to process it in my own way. It turns out, as important as it is to get quality sleep, quality me time is how I ensure that I'm the best version of myself when the sun comes up. So that's my why. It's not about being the fastest driver on the grid, and certainly it's not about being the perfect dad. It's about finding that 1 hour where I can disconnect from the noise and reconnect with myself so I can show up for the people that matter most. If you're a parent trying to find your own midnight circuit, I want to hear about it. Drop a comment below and let me know what is your me time and what do you do to protect it. Or if you simply want to know more about my setup and how much I've spent on it, let me know and I'll make sure to share that in my future episodes. And if you're curious about how I ended up with this obsession in the first place and why an F40 RC car from when I was 6 changed everything, make sure you're subscribed because that's a story I'm excited to share next time. Thanks for hanging out with me and I'll see you in the next one.